Hi my friend, how are you? It's been a few months since the last video news. Actually it's 2 months I think, it was like in August, late August. So it's time for a new one, for a new update. The last few months were kind of interesting months, a lot of like learning, a lot of preparation for the ministry, and I have a team now of 4 people that are helping me on Wednesdays, which are from the DTS school. They work like with me from like going out to North Beach and building relationships and getting connected with people out there, which is a really great time. Like it's really exciting to be out there and to see like what God is doing there. And yeah, we're out in North Beach quite a lot. And right now, like today the weather's actually better again, but like for the last few days it rained quite a bit here in San Francisco, so it was hard to go out to North Beach. So I wasn't out there for a few days, but I'm still looking for an apartment, so you can keep that in your prayers that I find the right apartment, and especially like that everything works out with the owner of the apartments, because yeah, it's hard like getting one, and it's very expensive here in the city. So you can also pray for finances, that like God really opens up the doors, because an apartment here is like $2,500, which is quite a lot of money, which means that would be like an apartment with 2 bedrooms. That means like 1 bedroom would be an office for the ministry, then a meeting room for the ministry, and 1 sleeping room where I actually stay in. So yeah, keep that in your prayers, that God really opens the door for that, and that everything just comes together. In the last months I was also working and finishing up the mapping project. It's like, I think it's 1 more street to go, because I stopped doing that for a little while because I had a lot of other stuff to do. So you can, yeah, when that is finished, you can look at it. It's going to be online on Google eventually, but I'm going to talk more about it as soon as the time is there. And I was also working on a lot of preparation for speaking about the ministry. So I'm actually speaking in Portland the end of November, sharing about like loneliness and like how it affects our daily lives almost. And then I'm speaking in Iowa, and then in December, and then I'm going to be in Santa Cruz, which I think is the beginning of December, and then another town here close, Walnut Creek. So God really opened doors over the last few months, like to really connect with churches and connect with people, and to be able like to share, which is really awesome. So thank you for your prayers, and that God really answered them. I was also able to go on a vacation like with my parents, which was really nice. I traveled around with them for 2 weeks at the East Coast, and we just ended up like, yeah, seeing a lot of cool things. We went to the Elvis Museum and a bunch of different other things. Like it was really nice, and it was just great seeing my family again. Another cool thing like over the last few weeks was a great conversation I had with a guy here in the city actually. We're talking about like loneliness and like how he sees it, and like he was talking about like I was sharing it with him about ministry and what I'm planning to do and what God is doing there, and he was just saying, oh my gosh, that's such a needed ministry, because he realizes so much like in the city there's so many lonely people, so many people that have no friends, no deeper connection or anything, which is crazy, because if you think about it, San Francisco has like about 800,000 people. So 800,000 people is quite a bit of people if you think about it. So you should be able to connect with someone, but a lot of people are not able to. And he really saw that in his colleagues and people at his church and people like that he knew. Like it's such a huge problem. And so yeah, keep the lonely in the city in your prayers. And I think one big thing like that I want to challenge you with that as well, like for next few months, is like God really I went to a service a few days ago, and God really challenged me in thinking about this topic. The pastor talked about like love, and about like how it is important for us, like in whatever we do, that we know that we are loved, that we know deep in our hearts that God loves us no matter what. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to do anything for it. He just loves us the way we are. So we don't have to achieve in our lives. We don't have to be like the best people, whatever. God loves us unconditionally. And out of that love, our response is to love Him back. And out of that response, all the other things are coming. So it's very important for us to know, like, hey, we are loved. We are deeply loved. And I want to challenge you, if you don't know that, if you don't know, like, deeply in your heart that God really loves you and that Jesus really came for you, I want to challenge you to really think about that and really pray about it and ask God to really give you a revelation about that for your own life, because it's such a needed thing. If we don't know that we are loved, it is very hard for us to do what God calls us to do. Because we're always out of this, like, oh, we need to please God. We need to make God love us. We need to do those things that God loves us. We have to work harder. We have to do that so that God loves us. No, God already loves you. If you do something or not, His love is unconditionally. His love is there for you. So I want to challenge you in that, to really think about that and know God is with you, whatever the situation is. And I have a few prayer requests for you for the next while, like for the ministry and for myself as well. Please keep in your prayers, like, the ministry itself, because it's getting more and more challenging. It's more we are getting to the place, like, of starting the first groups and finding out about the first new meeting spot and all those things. So please keep praying that God is really opening a door there and that everything is going to work out just in God's perfect timing. Also, pray against spiritual attacks, because there's, like, establishing a new ministry, there's always spiritual attacks. The enemy tries, like, to knock you down because he doesn't want the new ministry, obviously. He's afraid of it. He sees, like, that God is moving through it. So please keep that in your prayers as well. And then another thing that's really, good to pray for is really finances. Like, we still need, like, another, like, my personal support has to go up another $1,500 to be able to pay, like, my part or my share of the rent for the North Beach apartment. And also, like, the ministry support itself has to go up, like, another $2,000 a month to cover, like, the basic needs, which doesn't cover, like, everything, but it covers the basic needs which we have, like, at the beginning. So if you can keep that in your prayers and maybe even, like, think about maybe supporting us in that. And just think about it, and God's gonna move through you, and God's gonna change lives through your life as well. I want to challenge you and even show people back home how they are loved by the way you interact with them. And thank you so much for your prayers. You're really a blessing, and may God bless you richly as well. And I'll hope to see you or talk to you soon. God bless you.